Welcome to the Outer Realm with Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Thursday night segment of The Outer Realm. We are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM from the Gulf Coast, 107.7 FM from beautiful New Orleans. We are fully sponsored by the amazing people over at Folklore Coffee who have been a part of our journey for the last several years. So thank you, Folgers. We couldn't do it without you, nor would we want to. Also, big thank you to Justin Snicker, aka Dr. Snick, the Sonic Surgeon, for the contribution of his time, his music, and his voice for the intro you just heard. He's an award-winning composer of Halloween, horror, sci-fi, and dark wave electronic music, which can be found on all of your favorite music streaming platforms. Also, big thanks to Steve McGinnis, the artist behind our logos here at the show. Check him out on Facebook and Instagram. Also specializes in the horror and Halloween genre, but does amazing commission pieces of any sort. So also just a heads up for our sponsor, I've had people ask me about Folgers and the other show, Beyond the Outer Realm. They only sponsor the Outer Realm, so not the sister show. So not yet, fingers crossed. Anyway, tonight we're having, part two of our open discussion that we started a couple weeks back with Wayne Mallows, exploring the animal kingdom, but on a different level. We're going to talk about spirit animal totems, familiars, old, strange tales, folklore. It's going to be a lot of fun. As promised, we will talk about crows and ravens and different things that they represent and what it means. If you see more than one, aside from it being a murder of crows, so it's going to be a whole lot of fun. And of course, it's not much more fun when I can do it with my compadre. Hello. Kat says I jumped. I had my headset on. Oh, that'll do it. So
do it.
Well, hello, Michael. Hello, Patsy. Yeah. So that will be fun. Getting into look at you, the different background.
Yeah,
it does look better. It's one of my favorite cabinets.
Yeah, same room, different angle.
Yeah, yes, I love that cabinet. That one's got a nice pedigree. Hi, Eric, Kira. That one comes all the way from the UK, believed to have been done in Scotland. It actually has coat of arms painted inside from the family, going back to I don't know, late 1700s. Possibly early 1800s. And I loved it because it had the pedigree. So when the family, when the son got married, they added another coat of arms. It's quite unusual, all hand carved. And it's got, you can see the Scottish thistles and yes, just love it. Anyway, hi, Mish. I know. I need the cabinet. Yeah, that would be a tough one because that is one of my favorites. So won't be going too far anytime soon, let me tell you what. But anyhow, so
it's actually heavier than the chairs.
It is pretty heavy, even though there's in two pieces.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. So sorry, apparently everything I love is heavy. And
one of a kind and fragile.
One of a kind. That one is, fragile indeed.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Anyway, tonight, I've been looking forward to this one. This is actually, guys, going to be a three-parter. So you'll have to wait until the next one. It's probably going to be in a few weeks, but we're going to be, it's going to be very cool. But anyway, this one gets into, different things such as, again, wonderful world of unusual animals, but we'll talk segue our way out of the last one into this one here, and get into the superstitions about certain animals, what they might mean, getting into totems again, familiars, all kinds of different things. But to segue off from the last one, Wayne and I were doing some talking today, and oh, there we go. Hi, Sal. Um, what I wanted to talk about the last time, you guys have heard me mention this before about how incredible some some of our animals or mammals, and just, I mean, everything here has a resonance. Everything here has is collected to the consciousness. It's really amazing. And one of those things are dolphins. And you often hear me talk about the order of the dolphin. And oh, hi, Kathy. Yes, I know. Sorry to talk to you. Anyway, the Order of the Dolphin, which was put together by Carl Sagan along with other scientists in doing UFO research. And the reason they called it the Order of the Dolphin was because a lot of research has been shown the intelligence, they're so bloody smart. They even have birthing programs with dolphins and people. Like, it's crazy. But anyway, dolphins, they believed, would be one of the closest beings on our planet that would be able to communicate with extraterrestrials. And in saying that, Joe and I have had conversations where there have been reports of saucers coming down over the water and dolphins congregating underneath them and just swimming around in a circle underneath them. So just some food for thought. Order the Dolphin if you guys want to look it up. There's some information out there on it, and it is really fascinating. So just another one of these amazing, species on our planet, along with whales. And I always go back to the Star Trek episode where they had to go back in time to get the 2 humpback whales to communicate with, ET, because
The doomsday machine.
yeah, right.
Mhm.
I thought that was amazing.
It make you wonder though what the dolphins are talking about. When the flying saucer is over the water, they're all congregating underneath. Are they like talking to them, saying like, "Could you do us a favor and get rid of the really unpleasant bipedals that are on the land? Can you just like get them out of here? Because we like it here without them."
Yeah. Can't blame them.
I don't blame them at all.
No, exactly. I'm same. It's kind of like God. But I think we've had so many, and again, we'll get a lot of this. We're not going to have time to touch on everything, I'm sure. Hi, Michelle, which means we're going to be able to, get into part 3, but. Kind of the dolphins. I believe when pregnant women swim with dolphins, apparently they communicate with the babies. See, highly intelligent they are. And they've got an interesting language all of their own. So where shall we start? Yeah. Very nice, Wayne. Thank you. Thank you, Wayne.
Yeah, blame your sister.
Yeah. I should have brought my sister on to do it too. It's could have been interesting. So there's again a lot of different things. I think I'm going to start off with owls. So many cultures share the belief that owls hooting nearby are harbingers of death, while snakes, for example, in the grass signal impending disaster. So, in the West, where we've got black cats, and across South America, misfortune often travels on four legs, but there are harbingers of death believed to be owls and impending disaster, snakes. So it kind of makes you wonder, like, where all that comes from.
Well, I mean, if you take an educated guess at it, it doesn't take much to build a superstition.
Mhm.
All you would need is to, have an owl in your garden that's out of the norm, let's say,
Mhm.
and it's there for 2 or 3 days, then your dad dies. And then the superstition is born, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
It could be something as simple as that, right? So, snakes always got a bad rap, in my opinion. they're the evil reptilian from the Garden of Eden, which is not quite right either. But
Yeah.
I mean, I love the takeoff in The Fourth Kind, I think it was, where they see owls in Alaska, kind of thing, and they come right up to the window,
Yeah.
and they realize after a while that it's not owls, they're actually grays, because they got the big eyes, and they look through the window, and it's just like, it's not an owl, man. It's not an
No.
owl.
No, that's kind of wiggy as well, to be
Yeah.
honest. Like when you think of the similarities. So as
Well, it's
well.
really weird. You see an owl without its feathers. It's just it's a tiny little thing. It's just wild how much feather they have on them. There's nothing to them.
Yes.
A claws, beak, and a lot of feather.
Yeah.
I mean,
It is.
again, sorry, just to finish up with the owls. I mean,
Yeah.
again, most of the time, like owls in general, I'm not going to get into all of the ins and outs of owls, but they tend to be like nocturnal hunters. They hunt at night. They have great vision. So and people are leery of the dark. Like bad things happen at night. You go out wandering in the night, you usually don't come home. Right. So that's kind of where I go with it. So they're already predisposed to a bad rap because they're night creatures.
Yeah. And I could see that. I could see that, especially if you end up with it catching a reflection of these, like, big eyes. And in all fairness, there's an owl out there. I cannot remember what its actual name is, but the thing's almost like the size of a small child. It's big. It's quite.
It sounds like a great horned owl or a great gray.
No,
Great
bigger.
gray owl.
No, I don't
Bigger
remember
than
the name
that?
of
I've
it.
never seen it.
I had not recognized the name of it. Oh, Kathy makes mention that astronauts' capsules, which landed in the ocean, were surrounded by dolphins. Interesting. I did not know that. So thank you
I
for
did
that
not know that. That's
tidbit
interesting.
of information. Thank you. Hi, Leslie. Thank you for joining us.
I wonder
Messengers.
why that was.
Yes, they're messengers. I agree.
I wonder why that was. I mean, was it they understood that there was people on board, or did the capsule that came back resonate a different frequency because it was out in outer space, much like a craft that's coming in from outer space?
I don't know.
Were they drawn to it in the same way?
Animals are just so highly tuned, to frequencies on average. So it's very possible. We have to Google what that looks like. Blackiston fish owl. Hold on. Let me go in and see if I can just Google this thing, because now I'm curious, you guys. Okay, 1 minute. So the Blackiston. Okay, 1 second. Blackiston fish owl. Not so much like wingspans. No, that's not it either. Largest owl. Let's look at that one. If I can bring up a picture, I will show it to you guys. What the largest owls are. Got some here like red eyes and some crazy looking owls out there. I cannot tell. They're not showing me I would know it to see it, and I don't see it. And it just looks completely unprofessional of me to be doing this.
3 minutes after the show, you'll find it. I promise you.
I know. It's insane. Oh, well, welcome, Courtney. Thank you for joining us. Right on open mic, which means it's really nice and laid back.
It is.
The Eurasia eagle owl. I saw that one too. Hold on. Let me look. Okay, there it is. Look, hear me talking. Look at that thing. Nope. I'm watching somebody holding on to this owl, and it is, I mean, mind you, when it's up against a person, yeah, it does look like a fairly large owl. So that could very well be. I'll just put up the picture. No, it's a video, so I can't even grab it up against somebody without a video. Okay, so that's probably it. Let's just go with that.
Let's go with it's a big owl.
Rochelle. Yeah, we're just going to go with that. It's a big owl. No, I've seen different pictures of this even before AI owl. You think I would just remember it because it's so exceptional. And I love really large birds of prey, like birds on average. I love birds. Okay, so we're just going to let that one go. But speaking of birds, why don't we just jump right into
Big
crows and ravens and look at the different meanings, for example. Okay, so Crows and ravens are powerful ancient messengers symbolizing transformation, intelligence, and the bridge between the spiritual and physical worlds. They often appear during major life changes. They encourage adaptation depending on their number and action, can signal warnings, deep introspection, or the need to embrace new perspectives. So I'm going to put up a picture and share with you guys up here. So it just saves me. That way you can see what I'm seeing, right? So uno momento. Here we go. Share. All right. This is what we're looking at. So counting crows. If you see one crow, a single crow is often seen as a sign of caution or approaching challenges. Two crows symbolize good news, happiness, pleasant beings. So much for the whole it's a murder of crows. Anyway,
Well, two crows are attempted murder. Come on now.
attempted murder, you know.
Right.
Three crows represent unity, celebration, meaningful gatherings. Four signify new beginnings, growth, fresh starts. Five are linked to abundance, prosperity, and financial gain. Six suggests good fortune and unexpected rewards, while seven point to hidden truths, insight, and revelations. Eight symbolize dreams fulfilled, hopes coming true. Nine represents love, romance, deep emotional bonds, and 10 indicate transformation, life changes, and new journeys. I really was trying to find my other research. And since moving, I am missing an entire folder full of stuff because it would tell you things such as what happens if a crow flies into your house, for example, and if it lands on, let's say, your headboard or footboard. It would mean that someone in the house is going to pass away. So there's a whole lot more to all of this, like how many you see, but also as to what are they doing at the time that you see them. So remember, if they're messengers, then you need to pay attention to what are you doing at the moment that you see said crow or crows. You've had experiences, Wayne. You had
Lots
good
of them.
experiences.
Personally, I think if a crow flew into the house, most people would drop dead of fright. And that would be the message right there. That could be where it comes from. I mean, they're big birds. If they were in your living room, they would take up a massive amount. It's not like having a sparrow in your house. They're big. I mean, you got me that beautiful taxidermy one from a roadkill out of England. It came with paperwork and everything, and it's a good sized bird for a bird. You know.
Yes, they are. Well,
I've
ravens are even bigger.
Oh yeah, they're huge.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of experiences. Like, I don't know if we talked about it the last time or not, but I was driving through the United States on my motorcycle and got into back roads and off the main highways, and obviously should have turned left and turned right, and next thing you know, I'm lost, and it's starting to look like it's going to rain, and I'm thinking, okay, well, I've got to figure out how to get home. That was before GPS, folks, and cell phones and all that cool stuff. It was a map taped to my gas tank. That was how you got around. And so I'm coming up this back road. I'm like, I have no idea where I am. No idea. So I think I'm going north. And I look up ahead, and there is a crow sitting on an exit sign that says, like, like ramp 12, sort of thing. And I'm like, I never see a crow sitting on a sign. They're usually up in the trees or in the gravel, picking up roadkill.
Yeah.
So it was just sitting on it, and as I drove by, it kind of just, it just kind of followed me with its head as I went by, and I'm just like, wow, that's kind of wild. I looked at my rear view mirror, he wasn't there. Well, that's different. And maybe I should take exit 12. So I did. And up the ramp I go and onto another secondary road, and I get up on the secondary road, and there's another crow sitting up on the overhead sign above the highway. I'm like, well, let's keep going, right? So I didn't see anything for a little while. Then I saw coming up, there's the road split. The highway went like that. And there was a crow sitting on the left-hand side looking at me. So I took the left-hand side, and that got me on the main highway. And after I was on the main highway, I knew where I was, and I didn't see more crows. And the crow, a medium, a long time ago, she told me that the crow was my totem. And another big experience I had was on a ghost tour, and in Kingston, Ontario. And we're walking through, and I didn't know anything about the place. I just had no clue. And we finished up in a parking lot behind what would have been the courthouse back in the day, but now it's not. And as soon as we got into the sort of this parking lot behind the building, all these crows came out of nowhere. There was just like, I want to say thousands, but that's over the top. But there was a lot of crows. The sky was dark, and they were all screaming. And the tour guide, she actually got a little unsettled. She's just like, I've never had this happen. Like, what's going on? And I just, being me who I am, I just kind of said, well, the crow is my totem, so they're probably just, protective of me because there's probably something naughty around here that I shouldn't be, playing with.
Mm.
And so they stayed. They wouldn't stop. They wouldn't stop. So she quickly told us the story that the parking lot was the old burial ground for the inmates that got hanged or hung back in the day, and they just buried them in the back, and they paved right over them when the parking lot went
Mm.
in. And as soon as we walked out of there, we started walking down the sidewalk. We weren't like 100 feet from that parking lot, and there wasn't a crow anywhere. You could look back to the parking lot, you could still see it, but there wasn't a crow anywhere. It's just like, that was wild. That was such a wild experience for me.
No kidding. But I like that you just, especially with the driving one, because you
Yeah.
just put your trust in it.
Yeah. Well, I'd never seen it. Like, it was like, I don't know where I'm going. So if I go left or I go right, I'm still wrong.
Yeah.
So what's, here's this
Yeah.
bird who's supposed to be my guide, right? So
Yeah.
listen to the guide, Mallows, listen to the guide.
Listen to the guide. Well,
Yeah.
I like it because I mean they are the they can be your guides, and we'll get into some of that. But
Yeah.
I like it because it leads us into this comment. Have you ever paused to notice how often crows appear along your path? So across different cultures and old folklores, crows and ravens, by the way, are seen as more than ordinary birds. They're symbols of change, intuition, unseen messages that move through the world around us. A single crow can signal caution, again, a reflection, two hint at joy, good news, and then it kind of goes on a little bit as to what we just covered. But as the numbers increase, the symbolism deepens. So pointing towards prosperity, good fortune, things like that. So maybe they're just gentle reminders, so to speak, to just nudge us to say, look, pay attention. So next time you see one, you just sort of take a little breath, count them, and say, wow. So what am I thinking of right now? Like, or what am I going through that would warrant having them here in my space?
It's interesting. I remember my dad, like I told you that story about the farmer who had shot one, and it was full of the most vile worms and
Yeah,
bugs
yeah.
that would eat us. But another story about that too is, I don't know if it was the same guy or not, but my dad had told me that they had found a abandoned nest of crows, like they were gone, long gone.
Yeah.
And then when they found it, it was chock full of like rings and earrings and coins and all.
Wow.
It was
They like
loaded.
shiny things.
Oh, they like the shiny stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was interesting. So that's some truth to the lore that they're good pickpockets if you can get them. They pull an earring right out of your ear if you're not careful.
Yeah, but they also use it for a form of gratitude.
Hmm.
So, and they don't forget stuff. Like they'll hold grudges for a really long time.
Oh yeah, they do.
I mean,
Like 14 years, 13
some
years.
birds, African greys are like that. They will hold a grudge for a really long time.
I've never done
But
anything to the African gray, which hates me.
but there have been stories where people have, fed crows or have done good deeds for them. And when they come back, like when they leave and come back, people have turned around and said, "Oh my gosh!" Like they leave little baubles, they'll leave little shiny trinkets in return for the food.
Hmm.
I thought, my God, that is so clever.
Well, look at those ones that, like, I mean, I saw this video eons ago now, but the crows had learned the traffic lights, and there was these nuts they couldn't crack the husk on. They're
Yes.
just too thick. So they would wait till the traffic stops. They would drop the nuts into the crosswalk,
Yes.
and then the cars would drive over them and break them all up. And then when the lights turned red, the crows would hop down and pick up all the nuts out of the husks, and then fly back up and wait for the next one.
That's brilliant.
That's a pretty big learning curve for a bird. I was just blown away. I loved it.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Well, here's another one for you. In Tokyo, crows will. Oh no, this is the one. This is the
Yeah,
one. Okay, yeah.
yeah,
Where they
that's the
drop the nuts
crosswalk.
in. Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
Yes. See that it is. It's just brilliant. Look, we just saw the same thing. Look at you go.
Right?
So basically, what you're getting into on an average. I mean, they're highly intelligent. So if you're going to be, for example, like if uh, I would say flock of seagulls, flock of crows indicate collective wisdom. And I'm just reading this along, so we're all learning this stuff together. And wisdom. So a need to trust your community, reminder to look at bigger pictures, things like that. A contextual meaning. So a calling crow. In some cultures, a crow calling near at home signifies an impending visitor,
Hmm.
right? A flying raven, historically interpreted, such as in Greek mythology with Apollo, as a message from the divine. Oh gosh, I grew up around we have ravens on our property. See them flying all the time. Where's
Makes
my
sense, doesn't
divine
it?
message?
Oh,
Yeah,
you had them.
I did. I did. You're not
You
wrong.
did. Makes sense to me.
A warning because they are natural guardians. A ruckus group of crows may be assigned to watch for hidden danger. So when crows or ravens appear, they are often prompting you to look beyond your current situation, trust your intuition, and prepare for a shift in your life path.
Hmm.
Interesting. Um, here's some of the, m- misconceptions. People just look at crows and ravens like they are these harbingers of doom, because they're scavengers, they're predators, so they often get associated with death because of it.
Well, they're
Um,
black too, right? They're again, we go back
yeah,
to they're black, they're dark, they're the color of night. You know what I mean? And the Grim Reaper is the color of night.
mm,
It's not a big stretch to jump, right?
yeah, but they have the albino ones too. If you look at the Beyond the Outer Realm logo, I've got the black and the white ravens.
Hmm.
I just love it. Um, okay, so before I move on, let me get to makes you wonder since they carried the messages of Odin, that after all those messages that they learned, it's very possible.
Hmm. I
Um,
could see that.
transformation too. Yeah, they holler at you till you get it as well. Um, okay, so again, getting back to crows. So because of this image, right? Um, they're often portrayed as omens, harbingers of doom, but in actuality, they're highly intelligent social creatures who just happen to be willing to eat pretty much anything as carnivores or omnivores, but basically they have to survive in the wild. So this is trying to get away from the stereotypical sort of thing. But they're very unique because they actually attend to their dead. They will hold funerals of sort. So more specifically, crows are known to gather around their dead, which is a practice known as mobbing, and to avoid nearby food in order to assess danger and trigger anti-predator behaviors. I did not
Hmm.
know that.
I didn't know that either.
No, it's again, it's very clever. So, no, they are not evil. Even in many people mistakenly believe they're bad omens because of how they're portrayed in the media, but they are symbolic and spiritually they have a spiritual association between, again, death messages, but they really most cultures around the world believe that they really do represent the opportunity for to give you those messages, transformation. It's just we have to start paying attention, and apparently we really don't. So so talking about corvids in general, which are crows and ravens, okay, pay attention to when they encounter you. um, do they happen during times of transition, decision making, spirituality seeking? Because they appear during meditation, rituals, moments like that. It's very, very important because that's usually when they have messages for you. So if you're dreaming about them, for example, if you see them in your dreams, it often signals again change, spiritual insight, needing to pay attention to your own intuition. They often represent messages from the subconscious or spiritual realms. Dream Corvid might deliver prophecies, reveal hidden knowledge, or guide you through personal transformation. It's a lot of really repeated messages, and it's all really positive stuff. So messages themselves vary widely, but often relate to themes of change. Again, hidden knowledge, protection, calls for you to embrace your authentic power, right? Again, very important. When they appear in times of change. So crows and ravens often show up during periods of upheaval. So if you're changing jobs, moving, ending relationship, embarking on spiritual work, perhaps that they are guiding you through this liminal space and in the in-between phase where the old is gone, but the new has yet to be fully formed. So in those moments, the message is one of adaptation, cleverness, and perspective. They remind you that endings are also beginnings. Now let's talk about those divine connections. So many deities across various pantheons claim corvids as their sacred animals or messengers, and much like Odin, right? We were just talking about Odin and the ravens, but they reflect the universal recognition of these birds' spiritual significance. Calling on these deities or studying the stories can help deepen your understanding of the raven or crow's spiritual role. Everything here, I believe, has a spiritual role. I really do. So, speaking of Odin, Odin in the Norse tradition, perhaps the most famous corvid deity relationships belongs to Odin, the all-father of Norse mythology. His two ravens, Hugin, which is thought, and Munin, which is memory, fly across the 9 worlds each day, gathering information and returning home to whisper their discoveries into his ears. For modern pagans working with Norse deities, ravens often represent the pursuit of wisdom, the importance of memory, and learning from the past, and value seeing situations from multiple perspectives. Um, so, getting into the Celtic power, the Morrigan. In Celtic tradition, the Morrigan, a triple goddess of war, fate, and death, appears as both woman and crow. She represents sovereignty, prophecy, and the fierce protection of what matters most. Encounters with crows or ravens might signal her presence, particularly during times requiring courage, truthful assessment of situations, protections of loved ones, things of that nature. So it seems to be a lot of the same idea. There are some that will, influence outcomes and guide warrior souls to the afterlife, which is sort of refreshing to know. I love that. But the Native American connection, so, here at this side of the world, many Native American traditions honor crows and ravens as cultural heroes, creators, and trickster figures. It's the first time I've heard them as a trickster figure. They bring fire, light, and knowledge to humanity, even through cleverness rather than force. They represent the power of intelligence, adaptability, and finding unconventional solutions to problems. So, in the Tlingit culture, the raven holds immense cultural historical importance and is seen as a creator of the world and bringer of daylight, having stolen the sun to eliminate the world. I have never heard the tale of one being more of a creator type.
I did actually in the last year. I heard that about the crow tricking the darkness because the
Right,
darkness had stolen the light, and because the crow was black, it came up and tricked the darkness into giving the bauble, the bright light back, and the crow stole
right.
it.
God, see, that's wiggy. Crows.
It's neat. It's pretty neat.
Shenanigans.
Oh,
Shenanigans.
lots of shenanigans, boy.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
love
if
it.
crows are around during upheaval, my God, I would have had dozens of crows since about age 11 camped outside my house.
I like it though. I love having them around.
Oh, me
You
too.
know?
It's interesting because I mean, read into what you will, but I mean, they listen. I mean, I can remember one day coming out of a house I had way back when, and there was two of them just kicking up a storm in this tree at the back. And I walked, what? Crows, yes. And I walked out and I looked up and I'm like, hey, play nice, just like that. And they stopped and looked down at me. I'm like, play nice now. Come on, be good. And they stopped. They stopped arguing and carrying on, and they stayed up the tree for a while just watching me. It's very interesting.
Yeah. I like the word shenanigans as well.
Oh, it is.
I'm a user of said word.
Me too. In one of the books I had written on Unnatural Selection, I use a raven in the back of a cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
And it does, when you read it, it does have the shivers kind of go up your back, just that the way the one character does the same thing I did. It's basically, it's carrying on, and she basically says, that's enough of that noise, knock it off, kind of thing. And it stops and looks at her. Yeah. And she's just like, gives you the willy jillies, boy. So yeah, they're crafty, and they do have a lot of magical, sort of lore behind their appearance and the way they conduct themselves. They are very magical if you take the time to look at them.
I've always thought that as well. In fact, when choosing a name for the show, the name to me was very, it came easily, and matching it to, an image. So like the outer realm, basically we come up with, it was the crow, the raven really, but the crow or the raven, the blackbird holding a key to the outer realm. And then when I moved on with the beyond the outer realm, you actually see that the bird is flying into, he's got the key and he's gone. So he's in flight. He's not just sitting there holding it, sort of inviting you to come in, like beyond it. He's gone through and he's got the key and he's moved on with it. There's even versions, if you look at the UPRN website, where I've added portals. So on the outer realm, you see, again, the crow or raven sitting at the edge of the portal to the outer realm with the key. And then beyond the outer realm, you see he's gone through with the key. It's just really fascinating. I love the fact that they are these messengers, that they represent so many ethereal things and so much knowledge. They don't just deliver messages, they're keepers of knowledge, right? Like they would collect it all for Odin and return and whisper all of this knowledge, everything that they would discover into his ear. Like, it's just, there's just something about it. To me, it was the perfect one, right? So I don't know. I love it. So
they are like the Watchers, I mean, they have before drones, they had the ability of height, the height advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if they had messages to give you, they would come back and they would tell you that those who could understand, or they believe they could understand, that they would come back and say, hey, there's an army across the hill, or there's somebody coming up the road that you might want to be wary of. That was where it all started from.
Yeah. Yeah, it is wonderful. There's so many stories out there, which gets us into the next leg of everything, moving past the crows, are the spectral animals, the ghostly animals, whether they be pets, whether they be, whether they're just old tales. So there's one, which is, I'm just kind of going into here, spectral animals. They talk about entities and stuff like that. Do you want to talk about which one is it you were talking about? The black hound of what? What was it you knew about? The other one brought it up.
Oh God, I don't remember now.
Note to self: when Wayne says something, write it down.
Write Write it down. I mean, it was like, oh, the black dogs of the moors.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's there's a lot of stories about the moors and their. It's
Mm.
almost like the what do you call those things? The hellhounds
Yeah,
type of things,
hellhounds.
right?
Yeah.
Hellhounds, but these are the black dogs of the moors, and it's the same idea. There's these big sort of dogs like the size of bull mastiffs, very muscular, black with red eyes
Hmm.
that just roam the moors, and run into that at night. Whether it's ethereal or real, it's gonna hurt you if it gets a hold of you.
Yeah,
And
it's
I always
crazy.
found that pretty interesting. You know what my
Yes.
memory's like. You can't just dump that in my lap. I won't remember. But
What?
just on closing, just quick with the birds too. I mean, take all the magical and all the mystery and all the the sort of the fantasy out of it. Birds are amazing in a forest because, excuse me, if you've ever been in a forest and everything is normal, you can walk down the trail and the birds are going and the leaves are going and it's full of life. But if there's a predator around, everything goes quiet. And that could simply
Mhm.
be where the messenger idea came from, that there's an intruder on your property. All the birds go quiet.
Mhm. That would make sense.
Yeah.
That would make sense. So let's get into some tales of ghostly critters. So the phantom dogs of Gettysburg. I've been to Gettysburg a couple times. I've never heard this story before, but the story goes Gettysburg, Pennsylvania is one of the most haunted places in the United States, known for countless ghost sightings of soldiers, but visitors also report strange encounters with animals. Some say they hear barking echoing from the empty fields at night. Others claim they see shadowy dogs darting between the gravestones. Historians note that dogs lived with soldiers during the Civil War. Some even marched and fought alongside them. So locals believe the spirits of these loyal companions remain still standing guard or searching for their fallen humans more than 150 years later. It's very sad.
I've never even heard that story. And you know, I
Mhm,
know had experiences of Civil War of stuff, but I've never really had that experience.
mhm.
Never even heard of it.
Yeah, I've never heard of that either, but when I read it, it really touched me. It's like, oh my goodness. Um, Lincoln's beloved horse called Old Bob. Crazy. Abraham Lincoln's horse, Old Bob, was a trusted companion during his years as a lawyer in Springfield, Illinois. After Lincoln became president, Bob remained in Illinois but was brought out of retirement for the president's funeral procession in 1865. Draped in black, he marched behind the coffin, an image that brought many mourners to tears. Locals have long claimed that on quiet nights near Lincoln's home, you can hear the clop of hooves and faint sound of a horse's whinny. Some believe it's old Bob still searching for his master, perhaps proudly escorting him even in the afterlife. Boo. Like that's sad. Just like
It can be.
I
I would
know.
hate. I
That's like,
mean, we
oh,
hate to hear about human spirits that are stuck between worlds. I just can't stand the idea of an animal spirit lost between two worlds. That bothers me more than a human does.
it does. But you know what? It also shows of their loyalty, their loyalty from one life into the next, I
Hmm.
guess. One story I remember was when I visited Scotland, and it was this beautiful little, Skye Terrier, this little terrier, and it was called Greyfriars Bobby in Edinburgh, and that place was just crazy haunted to start with. But anyway, so there's a few ghost stories that are as touching, or very few that are as touching as Greyfriars Bobby. So in the mid 1800s, Bobby, a Skye Terrier, became famous for his loyalty after his owner John Gray passed away. For 14 years, oh my gosh, Bobby guarded his master's grave in the Greyfriars Kirkyard, rain or shine, until he himself died. And there's a monument, like, there's this beautiful bronze statue of this dog, like in this same area, which is a big tourist attraction within the Royal Mile now. It's nuts. Today, visitors often report hearing the sound of a little dog padding through the cemetery at night. Some even claim to see a little shaggy figure sitting quietly by a gravestone before vanishing into the mist. Whether you believe it or not, many say a spirit remains to watch over his beloved owner, promising or keeping a promise even beyond death. And I remember now it's just this adorable little dog, right? So here you'd have the cemetery, then here you would have this pub, which is Greyfriars, and you have this statue, and you just realize that this little guy is probably still there on duty. You know, it's beautiful, Rochelle. It's just, oh my gosh, yeah, one of my most favorite places in the world. I love it, and I still dream about it. It's terrible, but I do. I really love it. Um, so anyway, here's another. The Hound of Dartmoor, England's phantom dog. So, on the windswept moors of Devon, England, stories of ghostly black dogs have been told for centuries. The most famous haunt is Dartmoor, where locals speak of a huge spectral hound with glowing red eyes. Some say it's a guarding spirit, while others view it as a terrifying omen. I knew this was the next half. I knew this was a story that inspired it. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle even used this legend as inspiration for the Hounds of the Baskervilles. To this day, hikers on Dartmoor sometimes report hearing heavy paw steps, growls carried by the wind, or catching sight of a hulking dog-like shadow that disappears into the mist.
Hmm.
I know, this is crazy. This is from an article called passionatelypets, by the way, .com. Really awesome to check out. So let's talk about cats. So there's two cat stories I'll share with you. One is the ghost cats of the Hermitage in St. Petersburg. So the Hermitage Museum in Russia is world famous for its incredible art collection and has another unique distinction, which are its cats. So, for centuries, real cats have been kept in the museum to protect the priceless works from rodents. Legend has it when the building is especially quiet, staff and visitors sometimes feel a phantom cat brush against their legs only to look down and see nothing there. Others have reported hearing faint meows in empty galleries. Some believe the cats are still doing their jobs, even though because they're in spirit, but the spirit of former mousers, I guess, who love their jobs so much they never left their post. Maybe worse places to hang out, you know. And then there's this one, the demon cat of Washington, D.C. A demon cat. I don't know cats that act like demons, but
I was
oh
going to
my,
say that's a pretty wide
it's
stroke with
just
the
a,
brush. Cover them
yeah,
all.
that's right. This guy, though, deep in the shadowy halls of the U.S. Capitol, no less, legends tell of a ghostly black cat that appears before national tragedies. Wow. So, known as the demon cat, this phantom feline has allegedly been prowling the crypt of the Capitol building. Witnesses describe the cat as ordinary at first until it suddenly grows larger with glowing eyes before vanishing. Some historians believe the tale began when real cats were kept in the Capitol's basement to control rats, again, which is normal for the time. But others insist the ghostly cat is a true omen of doom. While not tied to a loving bond like other pet ghosts, the demon cat reminds us that even animals can become part of spooky folklore.
I
Oh,
remember hearing that story. It was a lot of years ago now. I was watching a program on that. They firmly believe that is a thing.
wow.
Even caretakers, security people have seen it. It's some credible people have come forward and said, "Oh yeah, I'm not going to the basement anymore."
Yeah, see, that's crazy.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, that is absolutely crazy. Um, I agree with you. I think it's very sad when animals sort of get left behind, you know.
They do. Well, look
There's
at the
this
manor. I mean, like we had that place for about 13 years. We had a number of film crews come through, photographers come through. I mean, a lot of people shot a lot of footage in those rooms,
mhm,
and I can't even count on one hand the number of people, cameramen, sound guys, who suddenly look down and they try to do a quick sidestep, and then they said, "Oh, sorry, I almost stepped on your cat." And I'm like, "What color was it?" He said, "Oh, it's like a long hair gray," and it's always the same cat, a long hair gray cat, but we didn't have a cat. But to me, it's interesting how every single person describes
Mm-hmm.
the same cat as being a long hair gray.
Mm-hmm. Belonged to somebody at one
Somewhere. Yeah,
point,
yeah, for sure.
you know. Yeah, me too, Patsy. It was sad.
Mm.
Greyfriars Bobby. Um, yeah, they always have a way, of coming forward. Always have a way.
Well,
Um,
Sean came forward in a huge way, throwing the plant off his cat tree and doing all kinds of damage in the house. And just like, okay, you're still here. I get it.
yeah,
Oh,
he did. He did not like things being out of sorts, but I think it was just his way of connecting to you, saying, "Look, man, I'm still
I'm
here.
still here. Oh yeah. Well, the
Get the
first time
plant
you
off
knocked the
my
thing,
cat tree."
yeah, you knocked it off the top of the cat tree, and I thought, okay, well, whatever. And then the next time was literally the next day. I came in the house, and the plant was off the top of the cat tree, and it was gone.
I
It
know.
was the plant was gone. It was dragged across the dining room into the living room to
Under
the
the couch or
parlor,
something. It was
and it
something
was under the
crazy.
couch. Yeah, exactly. It was under the couch.
Because it
People
was
were
just
saying,
a small
oh,
plant.
dude,
Yeah.
it's a mouse. It's a mouse knocked it off." I'm like, "Oh, and a mouse carried the plant 22 feet and stuffed it under the couch. What kind of mouse do I have? It's a big mouse."
It's a big mouse. I don't know. Honestly, I always lean to logic first, even though I may know, right? I may know. Um, okay. So let's start talking a little bit about totems. Okay.
Okay.
So, okay. The word itself comes from the Ojibwe language, actually, and refers to the animal or other object that is a sign or emblem of the clan per se. Totem can be almost any natural object that is believed to have blood ties to a clan, a family, or an individual. They are often sorts or different sorts of totems: wind, river, a mount, a plant, a bird, but most often it is a real or supernatural animal. So, in ancient cultures across the globe, Slavic tribes in Eastern Europe, native tribes of North America, African tribes, etc., the totemic animal was believed to be wise ancestor of the family or clan. So, all other animals of that class were treated as blood animals, relatives of the clan, who can help, guide, or protect you. Even today, we can see totems as a mascot of a team, different sports. Sometimes the word totem will refer to the representation of a totem animal. Totem pole, for example, the head of a crocodile, the skull of a crow, or even the figure of a wolf. So here's some of the meanings. Totem animals and their meaning: an alligator, stealth, and a fight for survival. Ant would be looked at as teamwork and overall perseverance, which you can understand. When you start looking at some of these, I won't go through the whole list because it's massive, and I just don't want to bore everybody. But if we're getting into things like badgers, aggressiveness, passion, and drive, right?
Oh, they're aggressive, all right.
Yeah. And the bat. I mean, I love bats. Doesn't mean it's my totem, but I love bats. Guardians of the night. A bear would be a protector, symbolizes physical strength, leadership. And you see sometimes people wearing bear, they'll have bear claws or bear paws, which are good omen, direction, and power. And even something like a beaver, hunter gatherer, a bird, carefree and lighthearted. So I mean, there's different variations of it. Um, Coyote, I'm just skimming through, often considered as omens of bad things and a trickster. So it makes you wonder, like, are they associated because of what we know about them already? You know?
Which
Um,
came first, right?
yeah. A crow, carrier of souls from darkness into light, and guards against fear in the dark, likes to steal shiny, bright things. And that's your totem.
That's mine, yeah.
Okay, well, there he is. Carrier of souls from darkness into light and guards against fear in the dark and likes to steal shiny, bright things.
Well, I don't steal anything, but yeah.
No.
You know what? When you said about the bat was interesting. You said the bat was the guardian of the night, right?
Yes.
And then you look at Hollywood's Batman. He's the Dark Knight.
That's true.
It's like I always look for these little connections. I always think that the truth is hidden in plain sight. And just when you said it's the guardian of the night, and Batman is the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Who guards the city at night? It's just wow. It's a really neat little
the
crisscrosses, right?
Yeah, I love it. I love it though, because you look at media, they always leave you like these little hints, and if you research it, you'll find it, and that's just one perfect example.
Yeah.
Dog heals emotional wounds. Dolphin, a symbol of power and control. Again. And here's what my sister loves dragonflies, just loves dragonflies, and they are messengers. And if you remember the movie, I believe it was Dragonfly with Kevin Costner. Do you guys remember that? Oh, excellent movie. And it was a messenger. The whole thing was a representation of the dragonfly, the messenger. It was unbelievable. Such a phenomenon. If you haven't seen the movie, you need to. It's excellent. Falcons assist in soul healing. Right? Frogs, renewal, fertility in the springtime. Hawk, great messenger and observer of the sky. And a horse, journey, devotion. That doesn't surprise me either.
Nope.
Hummingbirds, again, permanence and eternity. Lizards, not what you would expect of a lizard. Dreaming, agility, and conversation. I know.
It's not what I was expecting either.
No. How about this one? A mole, guardian of the lower regions, connects with the energies of the earth. Wow.
I know they connected to the bulbs in your garden one year.
Sure did.
Oh man.
I know. Owl, again, a very respected animal and is thought to symbolize the souls of the departed. They are connected with darkness at night and are considered a bad omen. How sad.
Mm.
Boo.
There's even a country song where a guy sings about it. There was an owl been screeching outside my window for 3 nights now. I don't think I've got long.
Oh.
Sorry.
Okay. I still love him.
Oh, I think they're great. After reading Farley Mowatt's Owls in the Family when I was 8 years old, I wanted owls until I was probably 22.
Right. I love it. Parrot. We have one in the house. Considered bringers of specific prayers and could bestow blessings. Got to go over there. Zara, bestow a blessing. Earn your keep. No.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm still working my way down. Okay, possums. This is interesting too. Proper use of deception, sensibility, guide to uncovering talent, psychic or physical gains, wisdom, recovery. Wouldn't have expected that from a possum.
When you look at that creepy dude from Silent Hill, that mask he wore looks exactly like a possum's head.
That's true.
Very long and little pointy eyes. And I think they're cute. I used to feed them. They're great.
They're adorable. Yeah, I used to do the
If
same.
you have a possum on your property, you will not have ticks. I promise you.
You won't have anything.
Everything. They eat grubs. They eat just anything they can get their mouth on. Cast iron stomachs. They never get sick. They don't carry bacteria. They're great.
And they're so sweet. They're so sweet. They look scary, but they're so sweet. They're really sweet beings. A raven, teacher, hoarder. You sure that's not my totem animal?
Right there. It's you, raven. No wonder you're connected to them.
Chairs for the most part.
Come on now.
Yeah. So they are teachers, hoarders of the mark. Oh, and the mark of a shapeshifter. He is a creator, deity, clown caretaker, and mischief maker. Wow, that's
That's
really
totally all you.
interesting. What?
Mischief maker, hoarder.
Some things, yes. A robin, the wisdom of change. Seahorse, confidence and grace. A shark, a great symbol of survival, adaptability, and hunting prowess. Again, the snake that get into usually seen in healing and fertility rites, also considered a hunter. So that sort of contradicts a little bit what we were getting earlier about that.
And
S-
when you look at the medical field today, they
mhm.
usually have the double snakes around the staff,
Yes, that's true.
connected to the medical, right?
Yes, that's true. You're not wrong. That's true. I
There you
forgot
go.
about that. I was making an organite. I love organite. I have an organite pyramid next to the computer. It's amazing. And on my phone, actually. It's a charge plate. I had the wet resin covered. A dragonfly was in the resin. Oh, no idea how it got there. I left it and as it was resin and finished my plate. Oh, but you know what? Maybe you were meant to see it.
Mm.
Maybe you were just meant to have it. Very cool. I want a tribal style dragonfly. They're beautiful. Okay, so getting back into spiders. Okay, not everybody's cup of tea for sure. A spider connects the past with the future, creative, and weaves a pattern of life. So if that's your totem, that's not a bad thing right there. Um, Tadpole, fertility, change, renewal. Again, guys, I'm just jumping around like crazy, right? The turtle. This is one that is often spoken about. A very powerful symbol for women, symbolizes fertility, long life, and perseverance. It is sometimes even considered able to defy death. Wolf, which is supposed to be mine, shows intense loyalty with a balance of independence, teaches cooperation, protectiveness, and the value of extended family.
That's you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. It makes some sense, you know. So, if those are all the different totem, and there's so many more. There's so many more. Oh, I love them. I love them. I have one I really should wear. They're great for
Mm.
grounding, just wonderful for grounding. I felt that the dragonfly wanted to be preserved without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Mm.
You never know. Maybe, I mean, they're highly intuitive. Everything is, all beings are intuitive. But with that being said, maybe it knew if it was going to be on the end of its life. They don't last super long, unfortunately. I also have a turtle, which is also a pentagram broken up by shell pieces, 28 outer pieces for days, 13 inner pieces for moon. Yes. Butterfly. I don't, let me go see if it even had a butterfly. I don't know if they have a butterfly on here, but let me check.
Probably do.
I don't know. Yes, they do. Okay, sorry. A symbol of metamorphosis and everlasting life.
Mm.
Oh, no, wait. Yes, that's right. Okay. I want to make sure I got the right one. Cat, self sufficient guardians of the spirit and good fortune. So those
Uses
are the,
drama to their favor.
because I think
Mm.
they're royalty. Um,
Not wrong.
so I thought that was really interesting in dealing with totem animals. If you're not sure, I mean, there's so much stuff you can find this stuff. It's all online, all over the place, and find out what your totem is.
I have a question.
Um, I know it's what's sorry, go ahead, Wayne.
I told you how like a medium woman told me what my totem was. How does one go about finding what their totem is? Like, what do you just, like totems are us?
Totems are us.
I don't know who
Um,
you'd reach out and contact and just say, hey, I'm this person and what's my totem,
mhm.
Is it like
Yeah.
1, 2, 3 and me and we're all ex-fighter pilots, kings and queens?
Okay. I just Googled it. So 1 second. The primary ways of finding your totems. Pay attention to repetition. Notice animals that appear frequently in your life, whether in person in dreams or through imaginary books. See, I mean, I've always had ravens and crows around me, but I've had a very deep connection with wolves to the point where I can be in their space. I could touch them and not sort of get attacked. I've had people say, "You'd probably be okay around a dog man." What? I
Yeah,
don't think I ever
probably.
want to find out, but I don't know. So it says, think about animals as a child that you were obsessed with or felt strong, inexplicable connections to when you were younger. You can sit, meditate with you, and use your intuition and see, which one of your look for an animal guide, essentially, right?
I
Observe them
think
in
the
nature.
animals that are things that are around me most of late are fruit flies. What's a fruit fly? Is that a totem?
I don't know, Wayne. I don't know, but it is really interesting. Kevin says, I was taught that we have four main totems and one mystical, but can connect to others. I have had dreams of mine and visions, then connected with the animal and seeing them all in the time in dreams are real.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Love that.
I think it's great. See, I have a huge connection to dragons. Huge. I mean, visions. I've always had them around, and so have two out of my three kids. One specifically. So, would that be considered? I guess one of your mystical ones. You know.
I don't know how mystical they are. I mean, I was drawing dragons from the time I could hold a pencil.
Yeah,
You
so
know,
they're
that
out
kind of
there.
faded after I got out of high school, but yeah, I was always drawing them.
That'll be part of the next segment. Eagle, bat, king cobra, and mountain lion, and also connect to the wolves. Yeah. So, okay, well, let me see. Let me go back up to the list. So we have eagle. Let me see if we can have an eagle. Let me tell you what the eagle says. Eagle, freedom and courage, sacred pieces of spirit, a reflection of a person's vision and accomplishment. Whereas the eagle feather shows bravery, good judgment, humility, and special perspective. Next one is, what did you say it was? A bat. Okay, that is basically guardian of the night. A snake, I think there is no cobra, so I think it would have to fall under the snake, which I read off. And a mountain lion, they have cougars, so power, leadership, and swiftness. There we go. So that is that. So getting into familiars. So basically, what is a familiar? The word comes from the Middle Age France, later spread across Western Europe and then the whole world. The word refers to a magical helper of a witch, a sorcerer, or a healer. Commonly, familiars were domestic animals like dogs, cats, horses, sheep, goats, or some wild animals local to the witch, such as frogs, lizards, moths, birds. Again, quoted witch because familiars were tightly bound to the witch hunt in Europe and North America. Women were tortured, slaughtered just for having a cat or a rat in the house. So we're going to go back again to familiars. Unlike the spiritual guides or the totems, familiars were helpers of younger witches and servants that were more servants to the more experienced ones. In the Middle Ages, it was commonly believed that the spirit helper or demon, according to the Christian sources, inhabited the animal's hosts and killing their own soul. So modern practices, familiars are the helpers and assist in magical practices. So it says, by the way, familiar is not only an animal, but can also be a human. So there we go. Yes. So that's what we have there. Okay, I was trying to go back into what guys, this is awesome. Okay. So getting into where was I going to go? I completely lost my thought because I was just still reading, so I apologize. I'll get to some comments. I had a fox visiting my backyard every couple of days now, a coyote visiting the front, definitely feeling their energy this week.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. You're very welcome, Kevin. I love it. I think, what is it that you know, what is it that guides us towards, I don't know, I feel like maybe we need connections to, it's easier to think that we have these animal spirit guides, or totems. Like, what is it that makes us gravitate so much to them? Because I love all animals. I love all life for the most part, mostly animals.
I think on some level of our humanity, we've lost our connection to the planet, to Mother Earth, and like animals can navigate and do all sorts of things that we need, electronics to do. And I think when we see an animal, there's parts of us that like try to connect and try to identify because it brings us back to where we're supposed to be. I always, when we're talking about Bigfoot and Sasquatch and stuff like that, and there's people saying, well, they're the apex in the forest. But we're not. I mean, if you stripped any one of us down to nothing and dropped us in the middle of the woods, we'd be dead in a week, less than probably 24 hours. Like these creatures live in the forest with nothing but their wits and instinct. So I think that we look at that and we think we're grand, but we're really not. Not that grand.
No, and again, it's sort of like, I don't know. Are they just too good for us? I think it goes back realistically when we think about, again, Odin, and you think about his connection that he had to his ravens. You hear about stories like this all over the place, all over the place. And I think it also varies. Like you have certain cultures will have certain types of totems, right? For example, through indigenous totems, you can figure all that out by basically just, going into dream states through different, ceremonies, things like that. But they're often different than what, let's say, the Norse would have, right? And sometimes you can even, I guess, depending on your date of birth. Where I have problems using a date of birth is we're not on the right calendar. We're on a 12-month calendar. We're not on a 13-month calendar, which what it used to be before they changed it. So I don't know. I don't trust that one as much, to be honest. That's just me.
Well,
that's
anything mankind gets a hold of, they always twist it.
Look,
twist it to nefarious reasons.
Yeah, so it could be, it could be. So I don't know. I'm kind of funny like that. But again, that's just me.
Funny, haha, like funny, I'm a clown.
Yeah. And some people, you can do quizzes too. They have quizzes on here that basically say, okay, figure out what your spirit animal is. I really do feel that the best way you can do it is by just having that connection. For you, your whole life, what were you the most connected to? Wayne?
Myself? Wow.
Yeah.
What was I most connected to? I was always...
Yeah, I like being a Leo. Sorry.
There you go. See, there you go. So Michelle likes being a Taurus. There you go. Again, I go back to, like, I was always fascinated with crows, fascinated with wolves. I loved squirrels. Things like that. It's just it was always right there. Mystical creatures. Like I said, I was drawing dragons as early as I could hold a pencil. Didn't even know what they were. I just thought they were cool. I don't know where they came from. I had dreams about these weird things. I had dreams about dinosaurs before I even knew what a dinosaur was.
Yeah.
Tell me where that came from.
Yeah.
Well, we know like dinosaurs no more.
I know that is different. I have to say.
Oh yeah,
that's
another deep dive. Anytime you want to go dream walking, holy man, I have no idea about that stuff. That was craziness.
That was crazy. That was a crazy story.
I was little too. I was a little guy.
Let's just show you. There's a lot more out there. And kids are very intuitive. Want to get into superstitions, animal superstitions, but before we get started with that, this is a question that I saw come up a while back when I was originally researching superstitions in general. But since we're specifically talking about animals, do you think animals can have superstitions? Because there's a belief that they can.
Well, I think any sentient being can. They have learned behaviors. Look at crows. I mean, the crows at my sister's place know when she has the red jacket on, they're getting fed, and when she doesn't, she's not getting fed. That's the way it is. They're smart.
Yeah.
I,
Yes.
I think that learned behavior, superstitions. I know animals dream. You can see it. There's evidence of it. I mean, like before the invention of the gun, I mean, were deer that terrified of humankind? I don't know that they were. I mean, look at Antarctica. You walk into Antarctica, and the penguins have no fear. They come right up to you because
Mhm.
they've never been damaged by humans. But all the other animals, you walk into a forest, and all it takes is one deer to get one look at you, and they bolt. The whole herd will bolt.
And you feel, I mean, that's inherited.
Yeah, it is inherited, right? But are they now? They're suspicious. Is there superstition around, the white man or I'm a tall
Mhm.
white.
You're a tall white.
You know what I mean? It's just like it's one of those situations. Right? Do they have superstition? They can communicate on their own level. Do they share that concern, that collective concern? Do they share it telepathically?
Mhm.
Somehow the message gets out there.
Mhm. It does. It absolutely does. So, let's talk about some of the superstitions that surround these animals. We'll start off with the basic cats, black cats specifically. So, black cats are bad luck in Western cultures, but good luck in places like Japan. They were revered in Egypt. I mean, my God, look at, like Bastet, right? They were revered, almost like godly when you think about Bastet, but they were very revered. I mean, they would be embalmed much like, their owners would be,
Yeah.
to make sure that they would go through the proper process and, end up in the afterlife with their owners as well. Some of them were literally embalmed. They were all prepared for death. A cat sneezing 3 times means a cold. Washing ears means rain. I know.
It'll
Uh,
be raining here every day. I don't buy it.
I
I mean, like black cats get a bad rap, but I think it just goes back to the color. It's just it's the dark. It's night. I mean, witches wearing black, it's like, oh, they're evil. It's like they used to wear black because it hid them from evil, not that they were evil.
Mhm.
The black hid them from the darkness,
Yeah.
But people misinterpret stuff, right?
Mhm. It's true. It's true.
Oh,
I remember reading when I was in high school. I was reading, I don't know, doing a project on something or other, and they were talking about the lore of witches in the library book. Anyway, everybody had assumed, according to this specific book, that it was always the black cat being the familiar.
mhm.
But apparently, the more sought after was a white cat.
And
Got
who had 2 or 3 white cats when she was growing up?
this
Asking
guy
for a
right
friend?
here. Never a
Yeah,
witch
see?
though. Never a witch. So I don't know, but it's true. I had one growing up in my family home, and he was deaf, which is why I took him, because I adopted him because he was deaf, so he wasn't sought after. But ended up, in my early adulthood, when I had moved out, I had 2 white cats again. They were brothers. Called them peppermint schnapps.
There we
I
go.
love that. I know. I know. And the deaf one was called Attila because it was just really hostile. But it loved vibration. It would always lay on my speakers because it loved the vibration. It was just crazy. I wish I had understood more about, about frequency and vibration and things like that then, because it would just be, I think I may have been able to connect a little bit better to Attila. Maybe he wouldn't have been so angry. He was freaky. He was just a wild, crazy cat. Anyway, Dogs. A howling dog signals death. Dogs sensing ghosts or people's character. Stepping in poop is good luck. Can you imagine? I don't think that's
Negative.
good luck.
Negative.
How is this good luck? But again, this is a superstition. Common animal superstitions.
Well,
So,
bird dumping on you is supposed to be good luck as well.
well, it doesn't say anything about that here. But
Oh,
I
I'm
can't
telling
see
you,
that.
that's supposed to be good luck. It's 1 in a million you get hit.
That's happened to me a few times in my life.
I could outdo all your bird pooping stories. I am telling you right now. I've got a classic. You go on. Keep going.
Oh my God. Oh, okay. Well, we're going to keep going.
Please do.
Again, superstition around owls. Hooting nearby often foretells death or disaster. That's a big one. Hooting nearby often foretells death or disaster. Bats. Flying near a house or hitting a window can mean death or witchcraft. What about flying into a house? I would like to know. Because that has happened enough times, flying into the house.
Yep.
God's sakes. Spiders, money spiders. They're these little small, I can't even pronounce this. Linifidae. I don't know. It's a spider name. Anyhow, it promises financial luck. Spiders in general can signal good fortune.
No, I got lots of spiders and I'm poor as a church mouse.
Birds. Albatrosses were seen as carrying sailors' souls away. Crows are often linked to bad omens. See, these are the superstitions of what they're supposed to be, right? So
my dad being in the Navy, he used to tell me that the seagulls were the reincarnated sailors that died at sea because they could fly, but when they got tired, they could float.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Sailors have all kinds of crazy superstitions. Harmful superstitions against wolves, once feared as werewolves, leading to widespread hunting. Now, that is so, so sad.
Mm-hmm.
That is really, really sad. Tigers, claws, teeth, and body parts are sought after for luck or aphrodisiacs, fueling poaching. Again, that is a harmful superstition. It's true. Same thing with bears and gallbladder, things like that. Same idea. Hyenas in some areas considered evil spirits, while in Ethiopia, they're thought to eat evil and thus are protected. Insane. Protective superstitions. Again, hyenas of Ethiopia seen as protectors. Bees landing on a person's head could mean success, and touching a child's lips means they'd be a poet. This child didn't smack it, maybe. I don't know. But that's crazy. Why they exist. Fear and mystery. Animals with unusual behaviors, such as nocturnal or bright colors, or those least like humans, often become subjects of superstition. Interpreting behavior, people connect animals' actions, such as a howling dog, to understandable outcomes, like illness or death. Cultural folklore, legends and myths and religions, beliefs deeply embed animals into narratives, shaping superstitions over time. But at the end of the day, they're also said, all animals are said to be higher dimensional guardians.
I believe that.
I believe that as well. I really do.
Yeah, I totally believe that.
I got stung on the head by a bee once. My gosh.
There you go. That's where you get your intuition from.
I flushed a spider today. It was either that or toss it outside in the snow. I won't squish them, but flushing them can't be great. So I don't imagine.
I heard that if you dream about bees or a bee coming into your space while dreaming, it's the foretelling of money. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing with what is it? If you see a spider and if you get an itchy palm, it means you're coming into money.
No.
I've had the itchy palm thing. Here's weird because I dated somebody. Well, I mean, we were together 4 years. And I know. And it was so strange because I had this really crazy itchy palm, and he had a nightmare where he was being attacked by a spider all at the same time. And it was sad because it was his mom who passed away. So it was an inheritance. So the money thing was a thing. And again, like the whole spider thing as well. So there's like two different superstitions that crisscrossed, but it was just a sad event that, brought in the outcome. It's insane, you know. I've heard many different messages connecting to spiders. Yes. One palm, I get money. The other, I lose money. Oh, oh no.
In one hand, out the other.
Yeah. Animal poaching makes me really sick. Me too. I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all. So I thought that was really interesting. Do you have any like crazy animal stories that you want to share?
Oh my God. Well, the possum one was kind of cool. I mean,
the skunk story. What is it with you and the skunk? Do you remember?
Oh, yeah, I remember the skunk story.
Animals love this guy. It's insane.
Yeah, animals love me. I don't know. I was the old house. I had a large veranda. I would sit out there and write, or I would edit. And that's particular night I was editing. And I had a small light on the table beside the chair. So, like, when you have a light on and a computer in your face, you can't see more than a few feet in any direction. And used to feed the stray cats in the area, and it was quite late, and I heard like the rustling in the food bowl of the kibble being moved around, and I always kept a little bag of treats on the table when I was outside, just give them something nice before bed, So I rustle the bag, and they hear, I can't see anything, and it stops eating, and you can kind of make a shadow of the cat and in the bowl kind of deal. I'm like, come on, don't be daft, come here, I got treats for you. And you see it start to make its way over, and I go, okay, that's better. Come on, here, I got treats for you. I take the treats, put them in my hand. I'm like, come on. I'm down like this. Come on. And finally it comes up, and I feel its little whiskers on my fingers, and it's taking the stuff out of my hand. I'm like, see, it's not better than kibble. Here, I got another one for you. And I look down, isn't it a skunk? It's a great big skunk with the big white tail, and I'm just like, ooh, hello.
Yeah, that's like, oh.
And it looked up at me as like, oh, the treats are good. Can I have more? Well, you can have the entire bag, my little friend.
I know. Oh, it was so funny when you told me that.
Though.
Oh my
gosh.
But
then with the possum, I fed the possum used to come because I was feeding the blue jays. And the blue jays liked shelled peanuts, and they would take one at a time and go up the tree and break them open. Yes. And the possum started showing up because it was like all about the peanuts. So after several months of feeding this possum, I was sitting out there one morning and I had my tea, and I was sitting on the stairs, and it came wandering up, and I'm like, well, hi. And I threw him a nut and took it and ate it. And it came right up to me. And I'm like, ooh, here you go, you want a nut? And it put its little hand on my hand, and it took it. And that was the start of a really nice friendship. So it would come up and I'd have my tea and I would feed him nuts, And then in the spring of that year, the possum showed up. It was a she possum. I didn't know this at the time, and she had her little one with her. And she was showing the little one how to take nuts from the tall white. Right. And it was just wonderful. They would just, both of them would just sit there. She would take the nut from me first and give it to the little one. Right. And then after a while, she would let him take it or her take it from me. But I had two of them. It was just wondrous. It was one of the best summers of my life back then. It was just so wonderful to have nature that close to me and not scared of me and me not scared of them. And just, sort of cohabitating in the same area.
Yes. Oh, even the birds, the chickadees would come and eat from your hand as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd walk outside, put my hand out, and they'd just land on my fingertips. Even if I had no food, they would land on my fingertips. And so they just learned. I would walk through the forest with hands full of, or pockets full of seed, down by the water. And I would just make the chickadee sound. And I could see them coming through the forest like this. You see them flying as they get closer, and you'd hold your hand over there. It's all of a sudden it's like they appear. It's like magic. It's so cool, and they
Yes.
weigh literally nothing. I don't even feel them on my fingers, and they eat away out of the palm of my hand. It's just a wonderful thing.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love the interaction with nature. I think it's amazing if you can do that. Me says, my daughter would see spirit spiders dropping from the roof. That'd be enough for me. She has Addison's disease. I wonder if there's a connection.
Hmm.
I think, I have friends and family members who have children with autism, and I feel they can connect in ways that are phenomenal. The brain is just wired differently.
Yeah.
And because my niece, for example, would just literally pick up bumblebees. I was like, oh, careful. She would just pick them up.
Yeah.
I would just sit there. Never, ever got stung. Never got stung.
But it's an energy thing, right? Isn't it? The
I think
animals can
so.
sense.
Yeah.
How many times do the two cryptid legends talk about that all the time? And how the
Yes.
Sasquatch and the Yetis, they pick up on your energy before you ever see them. They know
Yes.
your intent, and I think that is the same for every animal out there.
Yes.
It
I
is.
do.
It's. I swear it has to be.
I think so
Look at
too.
my kid Steve. He's terrified of spiders. Terrified of spiders.
Mhm.
And then one night he had a spider sack open up above his head, and like I don't know, a couple of hundred spiders came down on his face while he was sleeping. They're all like, he woke up with like 100 spiders on his face.
I can't even. I
Yeah,
can't
they
even.
were up his
No.
nose and his mouth. It was just all I woke
I
up to was
can't
like
even.
just
No.
blood curdling screaming coming from his bedroom. This
Oh.
21-year-old guy just yodeling.
And I am sure he would love it. You are telling this story right now.
Oh, I'm sure he would. Yeah, I'm sure he would.
International audience.
Yeah, man.
Oh
Yeah,
my
man.
gosh.
His loving
Oh.
father.
Well, we're at the 90-minute mark. So it's just like, yeah, see right there. I'm down. I'm just like that. You got it, man. Spider egg sac opening your face is bona fide night terror material. Nope.
Yeah, for sure.
There we go. Yep, exactly.
100%. 100%.
Exactly.
Oh,
So
I mean, I went down the basement one time to replace a pipe in the basement. I had to crawl through a crawl space, and I get him. And he goes, "Why do I have to come to the basement?" I'm like, "Because if I get stuck in a crawl space, you got to call 911. I'm not going through there myself. I don't need your help other than just make sure your dad doesn't get wedged. That's all I need you to do, right?" His words to me was, "Yeah, I'm uncomfortable with it because I don't do dead things."
Nice.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thanks. Wow. Okay. Hence why the spider story's out there.
Oh,
Anyway.
of course. Yeah.
Anyway. So we've come to the end, of another
That's quick.
amazing show. It was quick. It was fun. I love doing open discussions because I love pulling up articles. I love that we're all reading it and hearing it all for the first time with some of this stuff. And it's just fascinating. I've learned a few things tonight as well. So now, yeah, Mish, don't get me started on the whole wolf spider thing because I've had my fair share of experiences with
Hey,
that.
let's talk about the 5-foot spiders out in Dawn's neck of the woods.
Okay, that's going to be in the next show. But yes, it's true. Throughout different parts of the world, including the Navajo Nation, Don Yazzie and I have talked about that. Africa, places in South America, places throughout the United States, 5 freaking feet in diameter. And somebody actually videotaped one crossing the road. That was it for me.
Yeah, no.
I'm like, that and I do not exist in the same space at any given time. It's just not a thing. It's just not a thing. So, thank you, Heidi. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you.
I mean, last week when we were having such cold temperatures, it was
you.
minus 30. And people were saying, like, how do you live in a country where you have minus 30? And I'm like, because we don't have 5-foot spiders.
That we know of.
Keep
them around.
In the cold.
Yeah, I'll keep them around.
Thanks, Mish.
He's fun to have the open mics with for sure. So next week, let's get into next week. So full lineup of shows. Monday, catch me on Two Real Cryptid Legends, since I am their moderator host, with Daryl Denton, Ron Moorhead, and little old me, with a special guest, Bruce Brown, who's like a 30-plus year sheriff's deputy. Okay. And he's going to be talking about his aggressive dog man encounter. And I have to say, I don't know how I feel about that. It's sort of been like, yeah, okay. Anyway, it's a thing. And he's going to share his experience with us. So that is Monday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. You'll catch us on that. Beyond the Outer Realm welcomes Jason Offutt. And we're going to be talking about his book, Chasing Monsters in North America. Chasing Monsters in North America. There's some crazy stories. Jesus. Anyway, we're going to talk about that. Wednesday, Jennifer Jerkovsky is going to be joining us to talk about her book, The Lyrian Legacy. It's a metaphysical science fantasy tale, sort of blends in some ancient wisdom and starseed origins and all just ancient civilizations. It's got everything in it. Soul guides and, shape star systems and future worlds and channeled remembrance and galactic history. We're going to have so much fun with this. I'm really looking forward to it. So that's Wednesday. Thursday, okay, you asked, and I'm delivering. Normally, our celebrity death series goes on Beyond the Outer Realm, but we decided to do the second half of the Paul McCartney story, which is Paul or Fall McCartney. This time, though, we're going even deeper into a very well-researched article that I started by Andrew Gow and the alleged Beatles satanic connection. I said it. So that is going to be on Thursday night with Laura Lee Potvin and myself. So that's going to be a bit of a deep dive. And you might have to go to an alternative archive site for that one. I don't know if I'll be able to keep it up on the usual platform. Anyway, we're just going to see how that one goes. And oh boy, yeah, we hit on some of that stuff. Yeah, we talked about that. You guys have to go back and watch the archive that we did last month, I believe it was. Go back and check it out, because that's the whole first half of the article. It talks about different albums and all the signs that are in it. And I think there's a link to the article in the show description, so you can kind of get a head start on it and see where we're going to go with it. So we're covering all kinds of stuff. It's going to be really awesome. So until then, happy Valentine's Day to all you lovebirds out there, or even if you just want to cuddle up your little fur babies, whatever the case may be, right? Live, love, laugh, and have a great weekend. And we'll see you Monday night. And you are very welcome, Michelle. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being a chat. And thank you all for being a chat. So we love you all, and we'll see you next week. Good night.
Good night, everyone.